Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Retro Reminisce, the show where we look at an older game, see what nostalgia we have for it, if it holds up, likes, dislikes, and all that beautiful stuff. My name is Killjoy, and I'm joined by two lovely gentlemen as always. On my left today, Mr. Mark Kitchen. How's it going?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you all. Very well.
See you just behind the pop shield.
Yeah, pretty warm.
It is pretty warm in sunny old England.
Yeah.
And also on my left, Mr. Fruity Sammer. How's it going, good sir?
Hello. Not bad.
He's fiddling with a pen.
It's very warm. I'm supposed to stop doing this in case the clicking comes through.
It is very warm, but it's all good.
I have Iron Brew.
You do have Iron Brew. I didn't bring a drink up with me, foolishly. But never mind. Anyway, today we are going to be looking at an RTS game done by Blizzard. And it is Warcraft 2.
But to say it's not the one you're thinking of.
It's not StarCraft.
Or two of the ones you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Ah,
You're probably
but it is,
thinking 3 and
free,
StarCraft.
yeah. But it is Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness. So Warcraft 2 and its expansion, though I'm going to be honest, I don't think I played any content from the expansion. But yeah, Warcraft 2 is an RTS game developed by Blizzard Entertainment. Came out in 1995, 96 in Europe. And it is your classic kind of old school RTS. You know, you got your screen, you got your map.
Hell
It's
yeah.
basically humans and orcs are the two races you can play as, and you fight, and you got the campaign, you got your skirmish mode, all the stuff you'd expect from an RTS game. And yeah, and also this is the game that came out before StarCraft 1. So StarCraft 1 was they actually originally used the engine for StarCraft was the Warcraft 2 engine before they made a new engine and built StarCraft from it. But it does use a lot of similar mechanics and things. So let's, without any further ado, let's crack on then. We'll start with Mr. Mark. I know this is a game that you have played as a kid.
Yeah.
You do have nostalgia for, so I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, this is my choice. So, yeah, we had this at home. My brother must have bought it. Well, he did buy it, so I didn't buy it. I don't think we got it when it came out. I think that would have been before we even had a PC at home. But
Yeah,
we probably got it in like the late 90s, I think. Had a go at any of the PC games that he picked up. We had Quake, which I played a lot of. We had StarCraft 1, which I didn't really play much. But this was one of the ones, probably the one I played the most.
Yeah.
And my mates, a couple of my mates used to come around and play it. Like, we would just sit together and like just one would just watch and we'd just like help each other out, because I was probably pretty shit back then, probably slow and didn't really know how to strategize or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I really enjoyed it at the time. I mean, it hasn't aged well at all, but like
Spoilers.
but yeah, it was really good at the time. I really enjoyed it. Just like, yeah, just everything about it is just really nostalgic. I actually haven't, until we did it for this video, did this game for this video, I hadn't played it since then.
Yeah.
So maybe nearly 20 years since I played the game.
Bonkers to me.
And just everything about it was just so nostalgic. Everything just came back, like the voices, like the graphics, like the different units you can get, and like everything, like the music and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is a trip down memory lane. So yeah, it's really nostalgic for me. It's not something any of my mates had. Like, I feel like most games that we do, I'm always like, yeah, I played this at my mates, or played that at my mates.
Something you had.
This is something I had, and my mates came around to my house to play it.
Yeah.
And stuff, and we'd take turns doing levels and things.
Nice.
But yeah, I remember really enjoying it at the time. I always played the Orc campaign. My brother made it sound like it was one or the other.
Yeah.
And he was like, be Orcs because they're cooler. And then like, when I stopped playing it and I played StarCraft, I was thinking, aren't you meant to do both? But then I realised when we played it again that they are basically the same. Like,
Campaign, yeah.
not really.
Start on the opposite side of the map.
And the story is
Not a lot of difference.
There isn't, like, compared to StarCraft 1, there isn't really much of a story. Like, StarCraft has a much better story. But
Yeah.
I mainly played Orcs. So when I was playing humans today, I was like, oh, I don't even really recognise the voices and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though they are really funny, like some of the stuff they say. And
Yeah.
childhood PC games. I didn't played that many PC games, but this was one of the main ones I played.
Just the free. I don't think you played this at all when you were a kid, did you?
Nah, like I watched some streamers like Let's Play, like Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, but yeah, I've
Yeah.
never played any of them. Looking forward to the remake of 3.
Yeah.
It's coming out, but yeah, first time I played this was about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, not a lot of history there.
So for me, I actually hadn't played it until we started playing it, but I had seen my friend Jack. He had it, and he showed me the first game, and he also showed me the second game. But I probably only saw it for about an hour. But I always remembered visually what it looked like. But I primarily played the third one. That was the one I played, and so
it seems to be the main one that people. I guess because it's the last
it got
one.
bigger. Yeah, for
They
sure.
had the esports scene. If there was much of a scene for this,
I don't
maybe a bit too
think
early to have a proper scene about it.
because sort of StarCraft kicked that off with Blizzard. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, I remember it. I remember the orcs specifically. I think I saw like a couple of mission by the orcs, mission by the humans, and that was kind of about it back then. So I don't really have like nostalgia for it. I have nostalgia for the series, and more so now because of knowing more about the characters and going back and seeing all that. But I only really played it for a little bit of time, and then it was on to sort of the third one, and that was where most of my nostalgia for Warcraft started, and all that kind of likeness for the series.
It's good to see the development of it. Like, I've never played the original game though. It would be interesting to see. I mean, that would be very basic because that was like 1993.
Kind of like
I think,
June 2.
Yeah.
like, it's one of those things.
That's an RTS we have to do for the channel.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
But it would have been interesting to see like how it changed because Warcraft 3 was like.
I've got it as well now.
Warcraft 3 was quite extremely different from Warcraft 2.
Yeah, Warcraft 3 took a lot of
obviously
elements.
StarCraft came out before Warcraft 3. So, it was a big, obviously massive improvements. And
Yeah,
stuff.
it really did change up quite a lot. So, but let's move on then to things that we like about the game. I'll start with you, Mr. Fruity. Now having played it, what do you like about this game?
I like having hero units.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of cool. Obviously, mostly RTS I've played doesn't really have a lot of hero units. I guess you have them in like Command and Conquer, but like it's only really
like
in the
Tango.
campaign carriers, not
not anything else.
not like a proper thing. So that's kind of cool. I like the art style.
Yes, that is something I quite like. Though. It's very colourful. It pops.
Yeah.
Like
It's really easy to work out what's going on
Yeah.
and like who's who. So that's pretty sweet. Variety of units. It's quite a good amount.
That surprised me. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think there was quite as many units
And
as
like
there
all the
actually
upgrades and stuff you can get. Like,
That's very Blizzard, though, isn't it? You can like see how they do it progressed over the years.
Yeah, music's pretty good.
Yes.
Like, and like the Foley stuff's pretty good. Like the sounds of them like
Cling,
chopping
cling,
and like
cling.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know why, but I just really like listening to peasants chopping wood.
Yeah.
in rhythm with each other.
Yeah.
And like when you keep clicking on them, like the little voice
Hello.
like examples. Yeah.
What do you want? Yeah.
Yeah, the humans are particularly funny.
Yeah. It's quite funny listening to it, like the peons. The boats.
Oh, the peon. Oh, the
No, the
boats.
boats are like, "Aye, matey."
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
pirate.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like
pirate-
such stereotypical pirates.
Yeah.
pirate orcs. This is
Yeah,
very
that is pretty
strange.
funny, actually.
Like the little like gnome goblin guy in like the airplane.
Yeah.
He's like flying around.
Yeah.
Like the scientists, the alchemists, like upgrade building and stuff. So also really funny.
I do like the design of the buildings as well. How like both different. Like you've got like a farm for the orcs is very different. It's like a pig farm, I think, and then for the humans it's like a barn and stuff.
Yeah.
You have like you said like the alchemy building and things. They all look kind of different. Do the same things. But
Yeah, it's true. Like it definitely looks like it's more of like a primitive thing. Like the structures don't really have a lot of stone. Like they're like, oh god, what's the main command building? Is it like?
Oh, the hut.
Is it like long hall or something?
Yeah, long haul. I think it is. Something like that.
And you upgrade it, don't you?
And
To
it gets like better and better. Yeah.
like chiefs like hut or whatever.
Yeah. And it has like more shit around it. And things.
Yeah, like, I really
it's
like
cool.
that, like how it grows. Kind of like how like the Zerg kind of grows.
Yeah, like the hive hatchery. And,
Yeah.
and things. Yeah. Lair. So
yeah, it's pretty much everything, I think.
yeah. Mr. Mark.
It's more positive than I was expecting.
Mr. Mark, what do you like about this game?
A lot of the same things, I suppose. Like I was quite surprising, like the unit variety for its time. A game that was made in 1995 with quite a wide range of units.
Yeah,
like,
I think it was probably like 10.
You've got like if you're going with orcs, like you've got your normal kind of grunt guys, and then you've got the axe throwers.
Yeah.
And then you've got the catapult.
Jamaican. Yeah.
The catapult
Catapults.
things are really good.
You've got like the two-headed.
yeah,
got
the
ogres.
ogres.
Yeah.
And then later on, I don't think I got this far when I played it this time, but you've got the more magey sort of characters.
Yeah, the
as
mage.
well.
Yeah.
And then you've got different types of ship. There's not just one type of battleship. You can get those other ones.
Yeah.
That fire those fireball cannon things.
Yes, and you also there's humans get submarines at one point.
Yeah, they're really cool. You can't see them unless you've got like a scout thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the
quite
nice
cool
thing is it's quite varied in it for both. Even though basically both teams, the units do the same things.
Yeah.
They look very different. Like an archer doesn't look the same as an axe thrower. You know what I mean? You can visually tell that one is very different to the other.
It's very distinguishable when you're playing the game. Like you know which.
You know, oh shit, that's a catapult, right? Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So that's a green axe thrower compared to like a very human-looking human.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It's very clean,
colourful and clean and things.
But it's so easy to work out what's going on.
Yeah, it's quite easy.
The resolution's quite low.
I think it's easier in this game than it is in StarCraft 1. I feel like I have more problems.
It's hard sometimes seeing like Zerglings.
Playing Zerg in StarCraft 1 is quite difficult. Like on creep, you can't see like the lings and stuff. But it seems to be consistently clear on this game. And
it might be as well with this game. You're basically most of the levels I've seen, you're on grass. It's like it's pretty much like wood, grass, and water. It's very, very distinct things. Whereas in StarCraft 1, there's like metal type planets. There's like like ice levels. There's all these different stuff, and maybe certain colours don't work as well. But I know what you mean.
It's just more detailed models as well.
Yeah.
Like
I guess because like obviously StarCraft is set in the future and this is set in the past. There's only going to be like a limited amount of kind of terrain.
Yeah.
So that's why you only see.
Still like a fantasy world.
Yeah,
like
I suppose,
Arctic and like.
I'm sure the expansion's like set through the portal, but like I never really, even though I had it, I didn't really play it. So.
No, I didn't get that far.
But yeah, I like the music. I think it's quite moody. I think it's quite gives a good.
Definitely think the orc music's better. It's because it's got like war drums, kind of like very war sounding. Where the humans is very like 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 very like royalty
medieval kind of music. Yeah. Fanfare. That's what.
Fanfare. Yeah, like it's they got that one that goes like it's like very like fuck you, we're coming.
Like to break into Pirates of the Caribbean then.
Yeah. But the music, I actually think the music's like proper, like the orc music anyway. There's one particular track that I absolutely love in this. So
I like
I spent most of my time playing the orcs just because I preferred the way they looked.
Yeah.
I was the opposite. I actually played more of the humans. I played some skirmishes with the orcs afterwards.
So I was mainly playing orcs, and I was like, oh, I'll try the human campaign, and I was like, it's basically the same. I was like, go back to playing orcs.
I'd never seen the human campaign really, and I'd seen like you've been playing the orcs, you've been playing the orcs, and I thought, well, I've seen other people play it, I'll play humans instead. So
yeah, I like the upgrades and stuff. There's quite a nice amount of them. Some of them, I'm not sure if they entirely reflect the price that you pay for them. But,
yeah, right.
I like the fact that
it's so hard to tell.
Fairly simple kind of resource gathering, like wood, and like lumber, gold, and oil. Like it's relatively simple. Like you know where to go for what. And whatever,
the nice thing is you don't really have a limit on what you can do. Like for example, you can have like X amount of workers just getting wood.
Yeah.
Like there's no like they have to like do it. As long as there's enough trees for them to hack at, they'll just get. Like,
and you can see when the trees are about to run out, so you know when to reposition your workers if you need to go to a different bit of wooded area.
Yeah.
You end up clearing the land, and then you can build on the land. Like you can build farms there or whatever.
I find that a lot of maps have a lot of wood.
Yeah.
But so you need a lot of it.
And it's interesting. Like, well, obviously this is standard in RTS games now, but it was interesting when first seeing having buildings where it would then mean that you get more lumber. So you build like a
lumber mill. You would bring in more.
You get more lumber, and you build that thing. Is it a refinery or something?
Refineries, the oil one.
And then you get more oil, and then they take the oil back there or whatever. Those little kind of details are pretty interesting.
It makes it worthwhile getting not only the building, because with this you have that tech path thing where it's like, you want to build this, you need a lumber mill. So if you want to build like archers, you need a lumber mill. If you want to get extra boat stuff, you need the refinery. I think it's the refinery or whatever the other one is.
You have the Yorks, you have the shipyard and the refinery. And you get the refinery after the shipyard.
Yeah.
I didn't do all of the campaign.
Do you do a refinery to build the oil? platform?
No, you build a boat, don't you, from the shipyard to get there?
Yeah.
I was just thinking you might need the refineries. It's just like an upgrade.
I think it's
can't remember
upgrades.
what's in there? 'Cause there's like the 3 buildings.
Yeah.
That pretty much the refinery is pretty useless except for one thing. I can't remember what
I think
it
it
was.
unlocks one of the boats, basically.
I didn't really finish the campaigns, but like the further you go into them, the more kind of major characters you get, and it gets surprisingly.
Yeah.
A lot more like skills and stuff. to
There's
use.
quite
That's another thing. The story's actually pretty good. For
Yeah.
what it is.
Like
It's a pretty simple setup. But like it's pretty funny, especially the orc one.
I believe it
found
follows
the
on
comedy
from
of
the
it was pretty
first
funny.
game, I think.
Yeah, 'cause that's when they first arrived through the portal, didn't they? When the orcs first invade the human world. I
Yeah,
think.
something
Like
like that.
Warcraft.
Going on
knowledge
the
isn't
film.
great.
The film is based on the first game, so yeah, I believe they turn up and then
Yeah.
they go, and then I think this one they come back through and.
Well, I'm
still
kind
there.
of tempted to play Classic WoW.
Oh
That's,
no!
that's a conversation for another
Oh
time.
no!
yeah, so like in the later levels, your kind of unit structure, like composition and stuff becomes quite complex, and the later levels are really tough. Like I remember not being able to complete this game when I was a kid. I
Yeah.
probably could if I persevered with it now, but I didn't really.
Oh,
be bothered to be honest.
absolutely. I can do much, but I can like actually play the StarCraft campaign, this campaign, and complete it. Whereas when I was a kid, I couldn't.
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to do this
it's just
because
difficult.
you just don't have the knowledge of how to play an RTS
No.
to that level,
Yeah.
and what you should and shouldn't do and things like that. So, but I'm the same. I didn't complete the human campaign. I think I got like 5-6 missions in.
Mm.
So, but you know.
Yeah, I think that covers off most of it, really.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
What
do you
pretty
like
much
about
said
this
the
game?
same stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
We're all kind of agreeing on
Anything
what we like.
more? That you've got to
Yeah,
add?
I can add like a couple things. Like one thing I do like is when you select your units and on the left hand side, like the UI, at least it's very obvious like what you've selected, how much health they have left. You know,
It's
like,
quite big. It takes up quite a lot of the.
yeah,
the
like, that is a
screen.
downside, and we'll get to that. But like, I do like the fact that the map's pretty useful. But like when you select buildings, when you select units and stuff, like each individual like move, stop, patrol, like whatever the things are, like the actual unit itself, how much health it has. Click on an individual unit, you can see like what its damage is, like its damage range, like if it's got any upgrades like next to it, like all that information is nice and easy and very easy to tell. And if you've selected like more than one unit, you can see which one's beaten up, and you can click on it and move it out of the way and things like that. So
Yeah.
for that, it was like really good. The other thing that I actually enjoyed, which you can't do in StarCraft, but you can do in this, is you can hotkey buildings. You can actually actively hotkey a building and like hotkey it and then push the shortcut to build whatever.
Oh
it is.
yeah, I didn't even do that. I
That is
don't know
true.
why, but
But yeah, it can only be one
It can
building.
only be one building, but it's weird to see that in this and not in StarCraft.
Hmm.
But I appreciate the fact that it's there. So
Yeah, especially with like building units. Like it's so hard to like keep moving around.
yeah,
But yeah,
but-
that is useful.
that's pretty much all my things I just want to add to that. Like same sort of things. Graphics, music's really good. Just the cleanness of the game, very very tidy. All that good stuff.
Hmm.
So, well, let's get on to things we don't like. 'Cause I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I'll start with Mr. Mark this time. So I think I know what Dave's going to be
I mean,
saying.
I think
so-
everyone knows what I'm
I
about to
think
say.
like some of the dislikes are similar to some of the StarCraft 1 dislikes.
Yeah,
so
man.
the unit selection. In StarCraft is 12. This is 9. So
yeah.
it's difficult to
It's so hard to go back.
like.
It's so hard to go back.
You're just putting like small groups into the army and like into the like
group,
sending
yeah.
them into the base, and then you have to drag the rest of them in, and it's like, oh man, like
You just want to literally select everything.
yeah,
and then,
you
like,
just
move it.
want to press what F
The
key
main
is it?
problem,
Like, 2.
F2.
I don't know if you got to this point with like all the islands in the campaign.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I had like 3 or 4 transport ships,
To individually click
all
on
in
them.
one group.
Hmm.
And then it was like, oh, that means I can just grab everyone and just load them in there. And it's like, yeah, this will be fine. Load them in there. You realize that you can't like you can't access the unit if it's in a group.
Yeah.
You have to individually click on the ships to unload
Load.
and load them. When I was like had to move my gold mine and like my woodcutters to another island because we ran out of like trees and stuff. Like trying to load like 6 pinions at like a
Peons,
time.
yeah.
Trying to load like 6, 8 of them at a time and then ferry them over, then ferry them back while like trying to control my army and everything else.
It's
It's
nuts,
just,
isn't it?
Just let me tab through.
Yeah,
Like,
just want a slick one.
Just
Well, it's frustrating, and it just makes the game more difficult when it doesn't have to be. So it's like it makes you feel like you're bad at the game, but it's just the fact that you can't do what you want to be able to do.
It's one of those things where you actively have to be thinking. It's like, right, it takes X amount of time for this to move, so I'm going to move my army there, then quickly go over to the map, because you can't, like, I don't think you can, like, double tap to go to a unit. You might be able to one it and stuff. I can't remember.
You might be able to do like the screen grabs. Like
Yeah.
You and then like the one to
do
it in StarCraft
Right,
2. You
otherwise
might
you
be
click
able
on
to
the
do
map.
that.
Unload it,
And then
do
try
that,
it.
go back to the army, sort out, go back there. Like it does make you play better, but like in an older game that isn't quite as fluid, and it is, you know, runs the way that it runs.
And the limits and the groups as well.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough for sure. So.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like I was playing the game how I would want to.
Yeah, especially when you try and cast spells while doing everything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, this is so hard.
Enjoy like sending a massive army in and watching it all go off, but it's not the same as when you're playing StarCraft 2 or whatever. So.
Yeah, then your RTS games where it's like it's all been streamlined at that point.
And the other big one, well, I've got a couple more points, but the other big one that's similar, the same as StarCraft 1 is like just
The pathing is insane.
The amount of times my like workers would just fucking get stuck on the tree,
Yeah.
or get stuck like not even on like a building, like they get stuck by other workers.
Yeah.
So workers coming out of the building, if they keep colliding with one guy, that guy will then just stop there,
Yeah.
and then they'll path around him because it's like, oh, there's something blocking it. I'll just stop. But like, no, that's the other workers coming out. The amount of times I'd look over, there'd be like 6 dudes that stood there. It's like, what?
And also, if they finish chopping all the woods down, like
They don't go look for other trees.
No,
do
they just stand there until you like redirect them. Yeah, it's a bit annoying.
They've only got like a cone of like
Yeah.
around them that can actually.
You reminded
carry
me. You reminded me. So I had a boat and I landed on this island, but there was like this amount of trees and then like a bigger area around here. So I was like, oh well, I'll just tell them to move. And like some of the units went round, the other ones just sort of went like that and then like that, and they stopped. And
Is
it's
that
like,
the one with the island where it's got like a middle path and like the coast path at the bottom?
I
So I had a
cannot
problem
remember.
when the mission I was doing that. I was like, go and attack over there. Like I looked and my army's gone like 3 different ways, and like half the army's just stuck
Stop.
in this like tree. And it's just like,
But the problem is,
God damn it!
I think what the problem is unlike StarCraft, where like in StarCraft, if you say you got a group of dragoons which have got the worst pathing,
yeah.
Right.
they will at least they will try to find the quickest
They will
path,
get
so they'll
there.
keep moving
Yeah.
even if it takes an hour. Whereas in this, they'll go like, oh, well, you want me to go here? Like, say you're on the right, there's some trees, you want them to go to the left. They'll move up, go left, go. There's a tree here, and just stop. So you have to keep clicking up, so they follow the island round. Then left to go round it, and then down, like keep clicking it, because then the computer's like, oh yeah, I need to follow the outskirts of this tree line, but it doesn't know how to do that unless you specifically say
yeah, it doesn't
walk in
have
this
to like
direction.
grey cast to like actually work out the best routes
Yeah,
to go.
it's
yeah.
kind of funny how bad it is, but it is so hard when you've got other limitations.
It's just hard to go back. Like,
Yeah.
if this was like the last RTS that Blizzard made, you wouldn't be so like annoying. The fact that you know that there's like much easier, simple ways of getting like an RTS fix. It's like, why go back?
The fact that you can't attack move is just like impossible.
Can you not?
Like,
You can't, can you?
no. So you just run
You just
in.
keep going past them, don't you?
You run in and you just have to stand there and hope they attack the right thing.
Yeah,
But sometimes they attack the buildings when there's clearly enemies like
Hitting them.
within. Yeah.
Good attack move.
I think you. Maybe you can. I can't remember. But I know that
It doesn't
doesn't
really
always work, does it?
No.
Yeah.
If you
thought you couldn't
you
do
sort
it
of
if you
can, but
hotkeyed them, but I think if you bandbox and then do like a attack,
it doesn't work very
you
well.
do it like that. I believe.
Because I think what they do is they get to that spot and then they attack. They attack rather than just like standing there.
Oh yeah, they attack from there. They don't
Yeah, yeah.
attack. So if
They
there's
don't an enemy on the way.
if there's an enemy in the between, they won't stop and attack it.
Yeah,
They'll attack once they get to that spot. Yeah,
It's just
rather
funny
than,
watching like axe
being on
throwers and
patrol there.
archers. Like you move them in there, and it's like we're clearly getting attacked, and they just stood there. Like you're literally like a thing away from these dudes. Like what are you
The
doing?
amount of times I'd like, while trying to ferry the rest of the army, and just look up and just see my army get like decimated, just because like all the trebuchets and stuff are just like stood there next to the wall. It's like, do something.
Anything. Destroy the wall. Anything.
It's
I
like
find it-
it's so annoying, but you can't focus on that because still got to transport the rest of your army through like 6 transport ships. I don't know why they made all the levels islands. There's so many island levels. Like, they must have been really proud of that ocean, I guess.
We've got boats, guys.
Yeah,
like,
everything has to be done by transport ships.
The good thing about the skirmish mode, and I was playing skirmish mode for a couple of matches, I just picked a map that wasn't an island map, and I had way more fun because it was like an 8-player map, so it was like a circular map. Shit tons of wood everywhere, and you start like in like the corners and around the outskirts, and like it was just more fun because you didn't have to worry about boats and things. It's not that the boats are bad, but like I could just focus on building up a nice base and getting a bunch of army. And I think playing this game in skirmish mode is a lot better.
It's that kind of thing where it's like they were trying to show off like the tech at the time, but like
wasn't quite there.
Oh boy, it wasn't as impressive as they thought it was.
I remembered another thing. Like when you have to take out an enemy base, you have to kill every unit.
Oh Jesus!
So even if you've like killed their town hall and like their barracks, and there's no way they can get back, you have to defeat every unit on the map.
Amount of times,
which
like
means
the
you might have to go.
Or like the human flying thing, or just be flying around somewhere.
Yeah, or there might just be one ship in a corner of like a massive map, and you just have to go around and like find like or like a single peasant like on some like little island somewhere. And it's just like you spend more time chasing them around than you did doing the main bit of the
I think
level.
This is a problem with like old Command & Conquer games as well, where you like, unless it specifically says like destroy this building. Same with June 2000, I think. Some of the earlier RTS games where it's like you're like I've killed everything, and there's like one harvester just like fucked off like up the map, and you're just like, you know. But yeah, I get that. It's
problem
annoying
with the campaign as well is there's also the other missions where you got to like transport the two-headed ogre and stuff like that.
The
amount of times there's like a circle, but the amount of times I had to keep walking in and out and over it and stuff, just trying to get it to trigger. Like I was generally like confused. Actually, I looked it up, so I was like, "There's a circle here. I assume that's like where I got to go to."
Yeah.
Like he just wasn't triggering. Like I have done a couple of the levels where it's just like
it takes a while to trigger. Yeah.
I was like, do I need to stand inside it, or do I need to like walk through it, or do I need to like just stop there? Like I couldn't work out why it wasn't working, and that was so frustrating because it's like I've done it.
I find though with this game is to that point is that when you do the objective, you probably have to wait like 30 seconds sometimes for it to trigger anyway.
Yeah,
it does take a while. So, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't do the orc one, so I never had that. But
yeah, those are most of the things. There's probably other things like you'll mention and I'll agree with. But if you guys want to carry on, like,
all right. Now chuck it over to Mr. Fruity. Anything else you want to talk about?
Something I found really hard at the beginning is that it doesn't explain anything to you. Like the tutorial and like, the campaign is terrible.
Yeah.
Like one of them, like another time I had to look up the answer. The other one was like, oh, you need oil. It's like, cool. Where do I get that from? Like, how do I get it? Like, I remember like walking around on the map being like, is it like another like mine? Is it? Do I get it from like? It's like how? I remember like looking up. It's like, oh yeah, what you need to do is build a shipyard and then build the boat and then go over with the boat and then turn it into an oil platform and then you'll get oil. And it's like, how am I going to get that from? Get oil.
Yeah.
And it's like so many times that it just wouldn't be like any use. It'd be like so like not helpful, like the missions at the beginning. It's like I don't know how to do any of this stuff. It's like it's
no, it's true though. You're right. Like I only knew because I'd seen it. But yeah,
I never really thought about that because it's been ingrained in me. Like I played it so much when I was a kid. But yeah, I wouldn't have known.
And like knowing what upgrades come from what and stuff as well. Like the amount of times I've been like, what do I need to build to get like certain things? I'm so used to it in StarCraft. It says like, build this to get like these units. Like,
yeah, it's like hover.
You know all your upgrades are in like your cybernetics core and like your armories, or like like. Most of your upgrades are in like the other building. Obviously, StarCraft 1's a bit different.
Yeah.
But like you get so used to being in the StarCraft 1, you still know like that tech path underneath the robotics bay is all going to be related to robotics bay like units.
Yeah.
And it's just like about times it's just like, how do I upgrade these? Like, oh wait, I can just upgrade in like the woodcutter place. And then like after you get like other buildings, then like other things will appear there. But, like you don't know they're going to appear there.
Yeah.
It's like. It's just really confusing. Like the whole upgrade and building system is bizarre to me.
You had a chance.
You needed a tutorial.
You had a chance to name drop us then, and referencing StarCraft. And you
I know. I literally chose to do Protoss just so I didn't mention engineering bay. I was about to say like, but then I was like, wait a minute. Like armory? The reason why is because like on Terran it doesn't work as well because you have like the tech labs and stuff from the buildings.
Yeah.
Whereas with like Protoss, I was like, here's to another building.
Yeah.
That's kind of the reason why I changed my example. But also just because it was funny.
Anything else?
Should have been called the cybernetics core. Like obviously the hotkeys are annoying.
Yeah.
That we covered, like not being able to like access the ones inside.
Yeah.
Not be able to do multiple buildings. Not be able to do like most things. Obviously, like in StarCraft, you get so used to having the counter saying like idle workers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is just another thing. It's like unfair to compare it to a game that came out like a couple of years ago. Let's expand. Like it's kind of a bit unfair, but it's also part of the show is going back to it.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to compare it to modern day.
I mean, I've got stuff here that's just about this game specifically. Things I don't like. If you want me to go through some of these.
Yeah, you can have a go. I think that's like the main things.
One thing I found really annoying in this game is there are very few unit barks. Like when you move a boat and you keep clicking, it's like I matey, and it's just like they only recorded so many lines. And like when I was playing as the humans, I was like, oh, I quite like obviously I played Warcraft 3, so by this point they probably had better voice acting and stuff. But like when you click on the
space,
when you click on the peasants, they're like, it just sounds like the voice direction's really bad.
The weird thing is that when I played this game, I thought it was cool that they even said anything when you clicked on the units.
Yeah,
like,
but it just
because I had not played anything else at that point.
It sounds like, honestly, like it's probably one or two people that did all the voices in this. But I find
probably just guys that just worked. At
it was.
Blizzard.
I think it
like,
was.
It's just like the guy from like stuff like the level design. Like, I can do a voice.
Yeah. But
I can do a pirate.
A lot of them get like really repetitive, really quick, and it's like it's unfortunate because I know that like later games have got better, but like just for this game specifically, it's just like, oh my god! Like
the main problem is I normally play RTS with like music or podcasts on in the background, so to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to them as much as you.
What it is probably the length of the barks is quite short, but also it's like the voice direction doesn't seem that good. I feel like maybe they were still learning to do this.
I don't think they took it that seriously. Like
probably not. Like
the peasants the peasants for the humans are hilarious. Like I found it so funny. Oh, it's done. Like, they sound like dopey Northerners.
Level.
Yeah. But they are just like, because the thing is the peasants in Warcraft 3 way better. Like they sound the same, but just way better voice direction.
Yeah.
Like they're way more tolerable, and it's like they sound like, I don't know, they just sound better.
Yeah, I guess it's normally because like in StarCraft 2, I normally just turn all that off.
Yeah.
Because I don't
but again,
have
like
all the error sounds
when you have
stuff.
something like not enough, when you get like not enough minerals, that's like quite a long thing. When it's like yes, no, on my way, like really quick, and when you can spam it, like in StarCraft 2, you can't spam it. If you click like a marine, he's like, it'll say whatever his line is, and it won't say anything until that line's finished. So it's not like it's like over the top of each other.
That's
like,
true,
if you keep clicking, it's like I matey. Yeah, you're the captain. And you're like, no, stop that.
I am the captain though.
But it's just one thing I noticed on where it's like
that's true.
It's
not something I really noticed, but I can see how that would be annoying.
Something
Listen to podcasts.
I know, right?
That's my advice to you.
One thing that I think is completely out of whack in this game is like the cost of building units and buildings. Why does everything cost so much?
Yeah.
Like the start of this is the problem I had.
And
right?
some of the upgrades, like the first upgrade is reasonable, and then the second upgrade is suddenly 5 times the amount, and you're like, fuck, to have like +2.
No, my biggest problem was at the start of every game, you'll be like in a campaign. It's like, hey, you've got 5 units, so you have to build a farm. Well, that's fine, but not only does the farm take fucking ages to build. Like, to be fair, I'm playing it on like what I would consider normal speed. I've not changed the speed.
Oh, and the wood cutting takes forever as well.
Like I upped the speed as high as I could go.
Oh, I didn't do that.
I was like, I don't want to wait around for this.
To me, the game is designed to be played on that speed that it's like set to. So I'm like, I'm gonna play it.
True,
like
but then I assumed the campaign was like StarCraft 1 campaign where it's like way slower. And
like
up
the speed
actual, like,
yeah, I should have sped
rather
up
than like
it was
competitive playing stuff.
Yeah.
You do it at a higher, like. I assumed because I wasn't a noob like RTS,
Well, I didn't
be
wanna...
like, I should probably go for a higher speed.
I wanted to play it like
I'm
the way
going
it's
to tear
intended.
my hair out.
It's like, to me, it was like, this game is intended to be played at this speed, so I'm going to play it at this speed, right?
It's true, but then you are quite experienced.
But I also didn't.
With
I've seen it at a
RTS.
higher speed, and it's like I don't want to play the game that fast. Like it's even fast. It's too fast for me. So I was like, you know, I'll play it. But it's the cost and the build time and stuff. Like it's nuts. Like you know, you build like a farm. What is it like 100, like 300, 300, 400? You know, 400.
But RTSs used to be so much slower.
Yeah, but like
in StarCraft 1 still takes a while to like.
Yeah.
Not as long, but like it still takes a while to get like
a normal
a
farm
barracks and
shouldn't
stuff
be,
in like StarCraft 1.
A normal farm shouldn't cost like 400 gold. You know what I mean? Like and even the peasants themselves cost like 400 gold or whatever it is. It's like the fuck, and everything just takes every mission that you do. It's that whole thing of like, oh, I've got to build a farm right now. I've built a few more dudes. I can't build any army units yet. Now I've got to build another farm.
Got remember, before social media, we had less distractions back in the day.
No, I know that, but like, it's insane with the price of stuff in this game. It feels like everything's like 200-300 quid.
It's just
too
designed
expensive.
for much slower experience.
Yeah.
Like, it's just meant to take you like 15-20 minutes to like have an operating base.
But it's just
and
it
like
just
start
baffles
churning
me.
out units
Like,
takes like 20 minutes
wouldn't
rather
be
than in StarCraft 2 it takes like what 2-3 minutes.
But it wouldn't be a problem if it was one or the other. Like if the buildings took a while but the cost wasn't as bad, like fair enough. But it's because it's like the cost of the buildings and the units are so high versus, you know, like the time they take. But the thing is, by the end of it, you the first like 20 supply is all fucking peasants or peons because you need like about 6 or 7 in the mine. And you need like 20 of them fucking chopping wood, and like you said, Mark,
takes ages to chop wood. Yeah, you have to get about 10 of them or more.
And it's just like it's just weird to me that they decided. I'd get like, you know, I could understand one or the other, but not both. Like it just seems so odd. And it was like that was one of my biggest problems. Was just like, oh my god, like because like I said, I didn't want to play it like StarCraft 2. I didn't want to play like a fast game. I was like, I'll play this like more casually. I want to enjoy my time with it. But like, holy shit, man, like. It's so slow. What else we got on it? Oh yeah, the UI on this game takes up way too much of the screen. So like, I know it's because this game's it's from back when resolution was smaller.
So different, yeah.
But like, you play it now and you like, there's like an L shape almost, or like not an L shape, sorry, like a block down the left-hand side that is just huge. And then the actual playing field where you can see is quite small, and that's kind of weird to me. It's like. I'm surprised they didn't just like scale things a little bit just for the re-release. Just have it so that you could adjust it. It's not like the be all or end all, but it is kind of weird when the actual mini map is massive, which I appreciate. But then you have all this real estate when you're not clicking on anything; it's just completely blank. You have like the mini map, then that, and then this tiny window.
Save processing as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Like
I think
screen.
Since they've like released it again for modern systems, I'm surprised that they haven't gone in and just said.
Oh,
a resolution option or something, you know, just to scale it a bit better. But
hey, that's what you want in StarCraft 1, and it never happened.
Yeah, well, no, StarCraft 1 got in the remastered version. You could change it to 16 by 9.
I meant more just like addressing all the issues. At the time.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah, the aspect ratio, yeah.
Yeah. But like, it's just weird because sometimes it does feel a bit claustrophobic, especially like I have the map speed, scroll speed up quite quick. So sometimes you're just like shooting past stuff, and you're like, oh, if only the screen was just a few, like the actual main screen took up more space, then I wouldn't overshoot things. I'd be able to do it. But I get it. But it's because it's gone from a game where it's like 800 by 600 probably, and now we're like 4K resolutions and things.
Yeah,
but it's
definitely probably 800.
It's just huge UI on it and stuff. And then my other point was just going to be like the campaign maps focusing too much on islands, like we've already said about.
Yeah.
All the same things that you guys have brought up, like plus the stuff I've said. Definite flaws of the game and like. Make it harder to play for sure.
Definitely
make
it's
it
all
harder
the
to play.
things which is like they obviously know these things are all problems because they got rid of it in later games. So it's pretty fair to say that these are problems. Not really the game's fault. It's just the time period it came out.
Technology again, isn't it? We're finding that with a lot of these.
Yeah, of course, it's obviously a big thing, but it's just. I think the thing that gets me about Warcraft and StarCraft is obviously they came out at similar times to like the Command & Conquer games, and in those games I know it's different engine and stuff, but in Command & Conquer you can select like up to 50 units.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I just find it weird that they've specifically decided to limit you, and I don't know. I want to know I'd love to know the reason as to why have you limited to this. You know, in this case like 8 or 9, and then like StarCraft 12. Why not 20 or why not? Like I wonder if it's to do with like pathing or like just the way that. I mean, even the maps.
I guess
might
they
be
just
designed
couldn't
in a
make
way.
it work, and they
Yeah.
got outdone by.
Yeah, I mean, Command and Conquer's got its own problems in other
Command and
areas. It's just
Conquer.
weird. That's one thing where you can hotkey the buildings in that. I think. And it works differently anyway. But like, you can select like, you know, I've got like 50 riflemen. All right, I'll click all of them and then move them. You know, and that's always the biggest frustration with the earlier Blizzard games is where you're like, I've got 20 units. I can only move like I have to do 3 different groups, and also micromanage the groups so they don't get stuck running around a tree. You know, like, and also tell them to individually click on stuff, and you're just like, fucking hell. You know.
Also, I don't know if I just missed it. But there's no like high or low ground in this, is there?
No, you just have fog of war.
There's like
and
no
shroud.
ramps, are there?
No.
That's something I found really like odd as well. It's like, oh yeah, there's no like ramps to like defend, and like
You have to put up towers and stuff.
yeah, it's weird. Like, I'm still not used to having that like restriction, which is kind of odd.
You're gonna have a hard time playing a lot of old RTS games because that's not something that was StarCraft
Yeah,
1.
I was gonna
did
say
it,
I
but-
wouldn't like playing this at the time. Like I wouldn't have known that because.
Oh
it wasn't-
no,
it
and
hadn't
like
been
Age of
invented yet.
Empires and stuff didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like most of them were just from one level. But that's
Yeah.
one thing I kind of missed. 'Cause I kind of like
having
the
that
defender's advantage and
Yeah.
stuff like that you get from that.
I'm trying to think
There's a
what other
reason
games
to
do
get
it.
like the flying ships as well and stuff.
Actually, June did it, but a slightly different way. Emperor Battlefield June did it, but yeah, thinking about it, a lot of games didn't have that. I don't think.
It's just something I miss. Yeah.
I'm one of these people that like when I play skirmish mode, I hate having Shroud and Fog of War on. I've always hated Fog of War in RTS games, and I still hate it to this day. I like it once I've scouted one part of the map. So you know, like
Oh, you mean when it goes back to being black afterwards?
yes, yeah. So units
yeah,
have vision radius.
yeah.
I always preferred it in older RTS games where, like, if you take, for example, if I'm playing Doom 2000, that game, I have the Shroud on, which is like the blackness. But once you've gone through it, you can see it all the time on the map, rather than the black like Shroud, not Shroud, the Fog of War going back over it. So you can still see the landscape, but you can't see what's going on in that area.
Yeah, I much prefer that.
Yeah. Whereas, like, obviously StarCraft 2 does that.
Especially like in some of the campaign levels in this one, it's so hard to work out where you.
I found a map cheat that
where you were.
revealed the map, so I was just like, you know what, because I'm chasing around for units, I just did that, so I could find out where they were and stuff.
Probably should have done stuff like that.
That's the nice thing about this game.
Didn't really
You
think
can
about it.
cheat, you know, like back then it was easier to do, but like the map, revealing the map cheat is like the only one I used, because I was like, I don't want to spend 10 minutes looking for a unit. If I've got one unit to kill, I'll just type it in after I've done the mission, after I feel like I've completed it, to find the unit and then kill it off. So I did that once, and that worked out nicely because it meant, I'm not wasting 10 minutes doing it. But it's
it's definitely made for like the earlier time of the internet when people had more time and patience for stuff like this.
Yeah.
Whereas like nowadays everything's so much quicker.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to do like stupidly long, like hour-long campaign missions. It's like
I don't mind.
it's so much time that's just like standing around waiting.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they're particularly action-packed.
Yeah, that is true.
Or like there's that like many phases. Most campaign missions are like you have
20
one
minutes.
objective and you do that one objective.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they're not very dynamic.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like you gotta spend like an hour doing a level. It's just like it's just really annoying.
Different times in it, but do you guys want anything else to add to this? The things you don't like about it?
Not really.
I think that's everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's finish it up then.
Kind of covered a lot of them in the what was good.
yeah,
But just like the reverse. There's no point
No,
going through everything.
we've done all of that stuff now.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's finish up and see if we think it holds up or not. I'll start with you, Fruity. Do you think this game holds up?
I haven't played Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
But I do normally recommend people go experience the story of the games in like a series or franchise. So like I think me just watching, it's probably Husky StarCraft that I watched play Warcraft.
Yeah.
Like just watch a streamer just to go through the campaign and save yourself the trouble. So I got a feeling with the amount of love for Warcraft 3, everything you want, like hero units and like the kind of more like fantasy setting RTS, you're probably better off just playing Warcraft 3, especially with the remake coming out.
Yeah.
It seems like I wouldn't say it was worth playing these games, but it's probably worth like knowing the story if you're like into the franchise.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only real way I can recommend it is if you just watch the story and don't put yourself through it.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair rating.
Yeah.
Also, I have no nostalgia for this, so.
Yeah, of course. It's,
Like,
I don't know what it
I've literally only ever seen this in the last year or two.
No, absolutely. Mr. Mark, how do you feel about it?
No, it doesn't hold up.
No.
I enjoyed
You're
this.
the most likely to give it a good rating.
I enjoyed it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it a lot. Like, I did enjoy coming back to it mainly for nostalgia reasons. There are like things that I do like about it, but it's just the lack of like being able to tab through and like select hardly any units, and like the attack moving and stuff just doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't do what you want it to do.
Yeah.
And I know that I said in our StarCraft video that I felt that held up, but maybe looking back, that doesn't either. But yeah, I enjoyed coming back to this, and I did enjoy it when I was playing it, like the Orc campaign. But then when I was doing the Human campaign, I was like, I did a few levels, and then I was like, okay, I've done enough now. Like,
Yeah.
But
I didn't feel the need to complete the game. Like,
Also, StarCraft 1 I feel is easier to go back to. So when we were playing that, like I definitely found that game less frustrating than this one.
I'd love
Sure.
to see a Warcraft 4. Like,
Yeah.
I'd
Same.
Love
like
to see a
a-
StarCraft 3
Yeah.
as well.
brand new, like really plush-looking orcs and humans setting, like everything.
We need RTS to be bigger.
The kind of lore and characters and everything in this game, but in like
Too many.
Yeah.
much better graphics and all the modern, like all the stuff in the RTS that you would need. But like obviously RTS is dead, so they're not going to.
Whoa. I didn't say RTS is dead.
Or it's
So
it's
get
not
all
one
the
of those-
plebs playing their Hearthstone and their Dotas to go back to a real game.
Yeah.
Hearthstone, that's not related at all. Dota, yeah, fair enough. You mean League of Legends and like.
No,
Maybe.
because like Hearthstone is like it's still the same like
Blizzard.
characters. it's
Oh,
not the
right.
Blizzard.
Sorry. Yeah.
And like Dota was obviously the spin-off,
yeah,
like the mod.
And Heroes of the Storm.
Now that everyone's gone to do these like easier games to play,
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
recommend
like,
playing.
I think there's still enough interest in RTS.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think the problem is they don't know how to monetize RTS.
Yeah.
'Cause you
which
can't
is the
really
problem.
monetize it the same way as you would a Dota. Like,
I don't want it to. I want it to be like, here's, it's 50 quid, bam. Like,
yeah,
I want it
this is
that
like
anyway,
you gotta get like Activision on board
but- Oh, fuck Activision.
to get like any of these properties from Blizzard. You need to get Activision on board, and like they're not gonna put the money into developing a new track. Because RTS is pretty hard to develop for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like playtesting involved and like design work. And I just can't see them putting forward the money without a way of introducing like loot boxes to it, or like any of these like monetization strategies.
Yeah.
I recommend playing like
Oh yeah, back to this.
Warcraft 3 like remake. People will probably really enjoy that. Even playing the original Warcraft 3 is probably still pretty good. But
It's a good game.
Um,
It's like more races, isn't there, and stuff.
Yeah, Night Elf and Undead. On top
They're
of
more
the
but
overall-
yeah,
Zergy,
this
aren't
game
they?
like for like someone new to RTS, like you wouldn't show them this game. Like
Yeah.
not now. Maybe you would be like, oh, here's where it started out. Like this was where it was booming in the 90s, and this was like obviously like a game changer. Like this is really important that this game came out, but it just doesn't hold up compared to like
Yeah.
modern mechanics and stuff.
It's really interesting because I can't remember what I said about StarCraft 1, and I feel like both these games have like the exact same problems. I think obviously I'd be more biased towards StarCraft 1 because I prefer like StarCraft 1's got way better music. Well, I say
think
that.
StarCraft 1's a little bit better though.
Probably is.
Yeah.
It probably
Like,
is.
similar problems. I think it's a
I
little
also have
bit
nostalgia
tighter.
for StarCraft 1.
StarCraft's better than this, yeah.
But like, I don't think it holds up particularly well. However, I would say to someone, if you want to like play this game, just play skirmish mode. You'll have way more fun. Like the campaigns are just not that interesting. It like the story's like cool. We're like, hey, we've been attacked by the orcs. We need to take back these places. Or like
Yeah.
you're playing the orcs, he's like invading places, and you're trying to, like the voiceovers to that are like quite like the orc guy's like, now we've got to go to this place, and like
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
like, that's pretty cool.
I quite like that, the
Dialogue
Yeah.
that comes up and stuff.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you expect from an older Blizzard RTS game, where it's like they've done some really cool things. They've got a great engine, everything's colourful. They did a lot of stuff with this game, but
just hasn't stood the test of time.
yeah, it's just if you've got patience for it and you want to play for it, you want a new RTS to play, and you want to play through a campaign, there's like, if you get this edition of the game, you get the expansion as well. There's even, so you've got 4 campaigns to play through and stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this to someone personally unless I said, hey, look, do you like RTS games? Do you like the Warcraft series? Do you like the StarCraft series? You know, this is part of that, and go and play it, and just play skirmish and just play a couple of hours of it, and you probably have your fill with it, you know, and see like the progress. Like it's the same with like StarCraft 1. It's like, it's cool going back to that to see like what units have changed, what was different, like upgrades, like even balance for me versus StarCraft 2. And like this, like I really like Warcraft 3. I've never been great at it, but going back to Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 2, there's such a huge jump.
Yeah, it's
incredibly like
different.
Quality
Graphics,
and like the graphics,
like, yeah.
the things you can do. I mean, even in Warcraft 3, I think you can only still select like 12. I can't remember. I think it's still 12 units. But you just have, it feels like you have way more control
it's still
over
doable, like you can still
like everything you want in a RTS for modern systems, I think is pretty much in Warcraft 3.
And that game's pretty old now. That was like 2002 maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's a game that has everything from this game that you'd like. You know, like the lumber mills, the gold mines, the pretty much all the same systems. The rock paper scissors system as well, where you know you have like in that game you have like normal attacks are just normal attacks. You have like siege attacks against buildings, and like magic attacks against like normal attacks, and you have all this sort of, you know, you have to build a varied army and stuff. It's just like 3 basically took 2 and added all the things you want and put it into a 3D environment and things like that. So I'd say yes, go back and play it just to experience a little bit of it. But it's like it's not a game that holds up very well. It definitely has a lot of problems, and if you don't have patience with like not having that control, like it's definitely not for you. It's not a game where like you get bored of it very quickly, you'll get frustrated with it very quickly, I believe. So yeah, I think it's definitely a game where it's like I've had fun going back to it because I already had nostalgia for the series and I like the Warcraft characters, but I would never hand this to someone and be like, hey, this is a really, really fucking good game. You need to play this game. It's like, no, here's Warcraft 3, here's StarCraft 2, you know. Play these games because these games really are like a nice place to start. You know, they're good, more modernized systems in it. So, you know, or like Red Alert 3, Generals, any like the more modern RTS games that rather than stuff that feels a bit clunky, feels like it was for like Windows 95 kind of thing. So
yeah.
But
cool.
Yeah, I think is that we're happy with that.
Everything, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for listening as always, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this conversation that we've been having on Warcraft 2. Obviously, hit like if you like this content. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and obviously comment down below on your thoughts. You know, like how do you feel about this game? Do you think this game's good? Do you still think it holds up? And obviously now we have a Twitter as well, so feel free to go and follow us on there. Like we try and tweet out stuff all the time and whatnot, and Facebook as well. But until the next video, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from these two.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.